99.7 FM.
On the water with me. Come on and walk on the water with me. You will not fade. You will not fade. Come on and walk on the water with me. On the water with me, you will not fail. You will not fail. Make a move in faith, launch on out in the deep. Be courageous and get down off that bound. On the water with me. Come on. Walk on the water with me. You will not fail. No, no. You will not fail. Come on and walk on the water with me.
So a very good evening to you here on Joy 99.7 FM. Today's Sunday, the 1st of October 2023, 3 minutes after the hour of 9, right here on 99.7 megahertz. And I warmly welcome you to your favorite Christian talk show, A Walk with Jesus, on Joy 99.7 FM. We would also like to officially welcome you to the month of October. We wish you God's blessings and His immense favor in this month of the year, the 10th month of the year. Well, according to the Bible, a marriage relationship is a union between a man and a woman. Like any other relationship, marriage comes with challenges, among which are offenses. Jesus, in Luke chapter 17, the verse 1a, tells his disciples that offenses are bound to happen. He further admonishes them on what to do when the offenses come. Tonight, we delve into how couples or would-be couples can deal with offenses as far as marriage is concerned. And this discussion follows after our musical break. I'll be serving you with a beautiful tune coming from the ministry of Shika. My name is Atuakwa, and I'm ably supported by way of production by Mikaela Nai and Abraham Ofosu Ofori. The theme for our discussion tonight is dealing with offenses in marriage. When I come back, I'll be introducing my resourceful guests right here. Your questions and your contributions are very welcome via WhatsApp. That's 055-1111-997. 055-1111-997. And on the Joy FM Facebook page as well. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. Get onto my YouTube page and you can connect Do me a favor by sharing the links. Share so that friends and loved ones will get connected and be blessed. This is a walk with Jesus with me, Atuakwa. Enjoy this.
Forgive me, I know I've wronged you and I'm sorry. But you can't forgive your brother, he's also wronged you and he's sorry. Inti, Senor Diaboni Champion, Sana Yemfanche, Senya Yesreboni Fache Piano, Sana Yemfanche, Timaya Bonia Fache me, Semafumu Wan Fashomu, Naedonia Mia.
Joy 99.7 FM.
It's a walk with Jesus here on Joy 99.7 FM, your superstation channel of blessing and your place of inspiration. We're discussing the subject dealing with offenses in marriage. I'm going to be serving you yet another track, and then we'll be delving into discussion. This is one of my favorites coming from the ministry of Celestine Donko, and it's titled Odo.
Okubani and Emma Buffy. Wodo inti, Rama Masibine, my audition.
Namaka Maka Udai, Ajirama Zaina, Adom, Odom, Mamaso,
Odoi, 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 Odoi.
All right, then. So that's a beautiful song there coming from the ministry of Celestine Donko. And this is A Walk with Jesus here on Joy 99.7 FM. We are discussing the subject of dealing with offenses in marriage. And I have here in the studios with me a woman of God who is not new to this platform, neither is she new to the station. You know, she's been a blessing every time that we've had her on this seat. And I believe strongly that there's a lot of learning that you and I are going to do tonight, even as we discuss this very important subject. She is Mrs. Theresa Wiafi Asante, counselor and founder of Beulah Life Consult, right here in the studios of Joy 99.7 FM. Let me say a very good evening to you, ma'am.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm blessed, plenty blessed.
We bless Jesus.
Amen.
We bless Jesus.
I'm enjoying a lot of grace. You're looking fine.
Thank you. I'm enjoying grace too.
All right. Thanks for taking.
Right then. And then via Zoom, joining us all the way from Kumasi, we have Pastor Andrew Yakwa. He's a pastor and a counselor also from Kumasi. Man of God, a very good evening to you.
Good evening, my brother, and good evening, Mrs. Teresa.
How are you doing?
The Lord is helping us.
We bless
I trust
Jesus.
you are keeping well too.
Grace abounds. Grace abounds. Right then, let me begin with you, Mama Thes. It's amazing how two people will meet and are so in love with each other and decide that they want to enjoy the love that they have found the rest of their lives. Mm-hmm. And so they decide to tie that knot in the institution of marriage, which is not wrong, which is very good and a beautiful thing. But then they journey on a little bit and they virtually are at each other's throats because one steps on the other's toes, you know. Is it normal to have offenses happening in marriages?
Great. So thank you very much, Osofo. Thank you to all of our listeners and those who are watching us. It is quite late, and we are so grateful to God. You are always waiting and willing to listen to us. Yes, marriage is, for me, the most beautiful thing God ever made. Sometimes you wonder how we get together. I mean, for quite a number of people, when we sit at counseling, you are asking them, how did you meet? And the places we get to meet are interesting and amazing. Beautiful stories. And then you are wondering, I was telling my son whilst we were on our way, do you know that 90% of the people who ever got married based on we were in love? And then 90% of those who are getting divorced, it's not as if they have not been in love before. They started on the premise of love. So where did all the love go to? Then it means that there is something beyond love for which we should be looking for to make the marriage work. Offenses abound. They so abound because, I mean, when you sit at counseling, you listen and you are wondering, what is this? Sometimes the conversation is such that you want to excuse yourself as a counselor. You are told you don't have to look surprised, but you are so surprised. You are hit hard in the face, and you want to recompose. You want to go into
you virtually cringe,
and then you to go clean your tears and come and sit. Yes, offenses abound, especially in the arena of marriages, and too many people are going through too many things. Somebody is so angry because you did not treat me well, because you didn't say it well, because whatever you said or did, I feel disappointed, I feel angry, I feel you disrespected me, I feel you should have said it a little better than how you said it, or done it a little better than how you did it. I feel betrayed. And so in all of these things, people are offended. And interestingly, whilst we were talking, I was saying that people are so offended. We are sometimes even offended with God. And some of us Christians, we have a lot of trouble with God. Yeah. We want to take it out with him. And so in marriages, people are deeply offended or sorrowful. And it is churning out a lot of bad, toxic into the marriage. So yes, people are offended, and it is normal to be offended.
It is normal.
Very.
Interesting. I would want to throw same question to you also for Anesi. Like I was telling Mama Thez, two people meet, they share beautiful experiences, very wonderful union, and decide that, look, we should not stop experiencing this thing. So let's tie the knot and enjoy this union, this love, in the institution of marriage. But then a while after, like I said early on, they are at each other's throats virtually, because of offenses. Mama Thes is saying that, well, it happens and it's normal, for offenses to take place in marriages. I'm thinking through this because these were lovebirds, but for them to be at each other's throat and one does not want to see the other at all, to that extent, as a counselor, I'm very sure that you have met a lot of, very serious situations between husband and wife. Offenses, are they normal in marriage?
Good evening, Pastor Atu, and then good evening to your lovely listeners. I think that marriage is a ministry of offense in itself.
Oh, really?
Yes. If you can't stand offenses, I don't think you should marry.
So you should marry expecting offenses. That's what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Because, for example, if you look at the book of Luke chapter 17, verse 1, Jesus said that offenses are inevitable. So it means that once marriage is also a human institution, offenses is part of it. And you'll be surprised that the same people who used to be in love are now seriously at each other's throats. Some people see eye to eye and all that. And I tell people that when you see a couple celebrating, let's say, their marriage anniversary, instead of looking at the beautiful pictures they are sharing, I think you should go beyond it and look at the number of years of having to deal with offenses from their spouses. And so when it comes to offenses, it's part of every marriage. And you should get into marriage managing your expectations and knowing that once you are a human being and you are not perfect and your spouse is not also perfect, from time to time, you are going to get hit at each other's throats. You are going to have disagreements. You are going to fight and all that. But you see, we are human beings, and the world, if for example, the world would be very boring if we agreed on everything. Variety is the spice of life.
Oh, is that to say that offenses make the marriage exciting, rather?
It depends on where it's what caused the offense. But however, once there are once you are human beings, there will be disagreements, and sometimes these disagreements leads to offenses. For example, I want to wear a white dress. My wife says wear a blue dress.
Yes.
Once we don't agree, our minds don't meet. It can lead to disagreement, and if one of us doesn't take care, it can also lead to offenses. And if we don't handle it well, it can lead to fighting in the marriage, and they probably end up in divorce.
Interesting. Talking about that, on the back of where Reverend Anesi left, what should be our posture, as Christians, as far as offense is concerned in marriage?
Great. I have said this a number of times. Let me say again. This whole marriage thing is a very spiritual thing. and we are practicing it in the physical.
Okay, marriage is a spiritual thing.
Very.
But we're living it out in the physical.
Out in the physical. And so the God who made marriage made no mistake. Those of us who are practitioners, we are making all the mistakes. And then the producer understands what he has done, and he gives you the how to use what he has done. So the phone, whoever made it knowing what he wants to do and how it's going to work for you. So he adds to you a manual with which you would work it out. The manual that accompanies our lives as individuals, as human beings, and then our marriages is the word of God. Let nobody say that, oh, when we were younger, and my father used to have, I don't know if it's CK Man or one of them, but part of the song that says that when God had made everything in twos, and then he noticed that Adam was alone, he said, Adam said, oh, Nane Nyankopon, why did you make me alone? And all those ones. I got it so much that when I got born again, I noticed that, it was not Adam who went asking for a wife, but God gave. This, when you, for us as Christians, the institution of marriage is put just opposed with our walk with Christ as true Christians. And the truth here is that even our walk with God, there are many areas we get to, and there are little difficulties as we journey on. In this institution called marriage, there are many little things that comes our way, and it all depends on how we are dealing with what we are dealing with. Some offenses can be very trivial; they can be very little. Sure. Others can be such a huge thing. Others can lead to separation. Others have led to outright divorce. And so it all depends on how you are managing what you are managing, or how you are looking at what you are looking at. For some people, very ordinary words like, oh, Chale Jaiwasem, for a husband is a lot of, why did you, that is disrespect. Others are like, they have such friends in the marriage such that, those things don't mean anything at all. They can say words beyond that. For me, I have always believed that in your little circle, your little, between the two of you as a couple, you have to know what you are doing, what means what, or what means what. Then you would know what you are doing. I so strongly believe that in a relationship, that is as much as a marriage, a couple should learn to have a friendship relationship, which allows the marriage not to look too formal, such that you have a bit of flexibility around the both of you, so you can maneuver and do things. Else the offenses are abound. And the Bible actually said something in Matthew 24, for many people shall be offended, and also for many couples are offended. And sometimes you sit at counsel and you are wondering, they tell you and you are wondering, wow. But then for me, it comes to capacity. Every one of us as individual human beings have our level of tolerance, how much we can take and how much we cannot take. But listen, bottom line, if you cannot handle offenses, marriage is not for you.
If you cannot handle offenses, marriage is not for you.
And it is true. Marriage is not everybody is cut out for marriage. Marriage is not, in fact, by force. So there are people who are not cut out for marriage.
So for those who pair some bitter experiences in marriage, eventually say, I don't think marriage is mine. They're right in saying that.
I believe in the scripture that talks about the different kind of eunuchs, and the fact that there are some eunuchs who are born eunuchs. There are those who become eunuchs for themselves, and there are those who become eunuchs for the sake of the work of God. And if you happen to find yourself in any of these, it is fine. There are people who are perhaps, they have learned a lot of things about themselves. They have been in relationships, and they think that this whole married thing is not for me. And I strongly think that my singular mind, nobody should push them into wanting to get married.
Interesting. Right. Also for Anesi, to what extent must an offense, destroy, get to that will bring the marriage to separation between the two?
I think that every couple must have in their toolbox conflict resolution skills, because, like I mentioned earlier,
conflict resolution is a skill.
Yes.
Yes, I think that the couple must develop this particular skill in marriage.
I see.
Because if we don't learn how to handle issues or handle offenses, I am telling you, if we don't take care, it can some even leads to fighting, and then probably leads to separation, and others lead to divorces. All right. For example, in most homes, when the couple are offended, sometimes what they do is that sometimes they give each other silent treatment.
Yeah, Cold War.
Yeah, Cold War. So they will be in the house. They will never talk to each other.
7 years.
They won't.
Really?
Yeah,
there's one I'm dealing with now. 9 years.
They've not been talking to each other.
No, 9 years.
And they live together.
Yes.
Also, are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. I deal with some of them. Some takes days, some takes months. There was an issue I was dealing with, a man and a wife who had an issue, and then they had several rooms in the room. So the woman moved from the bedroom to one of the rooms, and she was an asthmatic patient. Unfortunately, she had an asthmatic attack, and I think she died. The man didn't even check because, well, they were not talking.
They were at loggerheads.
Yes, even though they were under the same roof. It was after 3 days that he received a call from the lady's work that they've not been seeing her. That is when he went back to check and realized the lady had died 3 days previously.
That bad.
I'm telling you. So this issue that we are dealing with tonight, I'm telling you, we don't have to joke with it. We need to find solution for what we are dealing with.
What must one consider? I'm asking this for those who haven't stepped into the institution of marriage yet, but are yet to. What must one consider so they do not get to these extreme extents that you and Osofo are bringing out in our discussion tonight?
First of all, I think that the first advice I would give to anyone who is not married yet is to manage your expectations.
Okay.
A lot of offenses arises from unmet expectations. So you go into marriage
with high hopes.
With high hopes of your partner. And sometimes we thought that once you get married, you just be going on vacations. All the text messages you receive from your spouse will be ended with "I love you." You'll be surprised you get to marriage and then the text messages you receive are bills that you have to pay and all that. So you get into marriage and you have the rudest shock of your life. So the first thing you need to do is to manage your expectation. Know that you are going to marry a human being, and you yourself, you are not perfect. Another thing you need to consider is that you need to consider the background of the person you are with, or the type of upbringing the person had. Our upbringing has a way of affecting who we eventually become.
Yeah.
There are people, the kind of background they grew out from, if certain words are not offensive, even in certain tribes in Ghana, I don't want to mention any tribe, certain words are not offensive. So the person can be jokingly playing with you and then say those words. If you don't understand what the kind of background the person has or the person grew out of, I'm telling you, you are going to fight. You also need to understand the different temperament that we have. All right, know the temperament of the one you are going to marry. All right, so that if you know that this person is behaving because the way he's behaving is because he's a choleric, it helps you to be able to know how to manage yourself. And then the last one is also, like I mentioned, expectations. Please, unmet expectations. Manage your expectation. Marriage is work.
Interesting.
Marriage is work. Marriage is work. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, for Mami, I would want to throw the same question to you. I mean, I don't want my marriage to get to that extent, like you and Pastor Anesi are saying. I'm about stepping into marriage. What are my do's and don'ts if I'm sitting in front of you as a counselor?
There are quite a few of them, not too many. For all of us as human beings, just like Osofo mentioned, the last time I checked, angels getting married in Genesis 6, it was a whole disaster. So it is important for both of us coming in to understand that it's only human beings who marry. And when human beings marry, they have flaws, they have faults, they make mistakes, they sin, they do other things. And so this person I am going to be living with have all these, and I should be able to tolerate him. There are 4 things I have learned to do with my marriage, and then I teach. I call the ATAA. It is first learning to accept
That sounds
people.
like Ata.
It's certainly sure. Right. So learning to accept people. When you are willing to marry someone, get to understand that the person is coming with a whole
baggage.
And the baggage has weaknesses, temperaments, disorders. I mean, there are people, it is not temperament, it is actually disorder. I meet this young man who keeps talking down on his mother, and I sit with them. They were talking, he and the girlfriend. Then the young man leaves, and I ask the lady, "Is he your boyfriend?" "Yes." How do you feel about all he's telling you about his mother? She said, but the woman is a bad woman. I said, do you know that this is the same way this young man will treat you when you get married?
Yeah.
It is a disorder. He picked it from a very young age.
Tender age.
Somebody making him feel that your mother doesn't like you. He has carried it over till 32. He's going to marry you. The way he feels about his mother, he's going to carry it over to you. I keep saying that anyone who will marry my sons, God has blessed them, because they feel the way they cherish me. It is amazing. And so
they're likely to transfer that to their spouses.
Like that. And so get to understand that some people have disorders. Some people, their training, their orientation, their socialization is such that they have a particular way of doing things. This is the person you are going to be living with. And so get this understanding too. When you have gotten this understanding, get to understand that one of the things that you are going to be doing for a very long time in this marriage is called forgiveness. And you are going to do it for a very long time. Like also we said, there are some people, they are bringing a set that some words are not offensive, but also for me, my love language is different from another person. You give me gifts, it doesn't mean anything. You buy me a car, it doesn't mean anything. I want you to pay attention to me like this when I'm talking to you. That is for me a very, very important one. That is not yours. We must learn what it means to synchronize the two things. Very, very important. The third thing we are looking at is I'm still on this, because it doesn't offend you, does not mean it does not offend me. When we sit, let's talk. And that is why I keep saying, at the level of friendship, where we are not yet married, let us have a lot of conversation. Let's talk about all the nonsense. Let's talk about all the relevant things. Ask intelligent questions. Stop all this lovey-dovey. I keep telling people, no matter how much you love somebody, it is between 3 weeks and 3 years, the passion will die no matter what. The rest of the things will not be concentrating on the love matters. It is going to be concentrating on reality of this thing. And so get to understand that we will move from the stage. Who are you really? What are your likes? Let us engage the person. Get to understand what his thought patterns are. So people get married. 7 years into their marriage, he doesn't even know that my husband has had this. In today's Christian community, everything is Holy Ghost. We tend to stop doing background checks. We tend to stop doing researches of the people we are going to be getting married to. But when we were younger, and we're getting married, our parents will
go and ask about your background.
These days, asking is not. They are saying that, tell everything to the Holy Spirit. I agree. But still, there are little checks you need to do. And so these are some of the things. You can't stand. So yes, I'm looking at acceptance. This person you are going to be marrying, you are going to accept him whole. 2, the next thing you must be looking at doing is my husband called the school of tolerance. Osofo was alluding to it. This whole thing called marriage is the school of tolerance. Nobody likes inkwasasem in this life, but you see, you are going to be living with somebody. Learn to tolerate them. If you cannot tolerate them, it is not for you.
Don't get married at all.
No. The third thing is learning to adjust. In this thing called marriage, it is not your own space. It is our space. And here, we must learn to adjust to the other person. Growing up for me, I won't talk to you. I grew up to a level, and everybody thought, "Send me mumu and abibi."
Why?
I don't know. I didn't talk. I was a very quiet girl. I get married to a whole choleric. I am a deep 70% melancholic, and I get married to a practical choleric. Now, so Jankwa, I had to learn, but I was willing to learn. And my husband was also willing to take me through the journey gradually. I faltered. He was, "Well, you are going, we are going, we are going, we are going." And so your decision to adjust, it is very, very important. Else you will cry. The next thing you will think is that you have married the devil's brother. It is a lie. You are not willing to adjust. And the last thing I do is to adapt. Very important. As you throw some of the things into the jettison them, you begin to adopt things that would help both of you. If you are not willing to learn, marriage is going to be very difficult.
That paints a picture that before you step into the institution of marriage, the two of you have to decide that we will make it work.
Oh yes, today I was telling one of my sons. He showed me the lady they are getting married soon. I told them, I have just one word for you. Daniel chapter 1 verse 8. The decision to make it work. If you are both are not decided to make it work, even God can't help.
Also, funny, see, it's getting interesting. But then I want us to get to how we respond to offenses. Since we've registered the fact that they will happen, no matter how genuine your wish is, wishing offenses away that, look, you're going to live in heaven on earth in the institution of marriage, offenses will come. Your toes will be stepped on. How must one respond, to offenses? Okay, especially the ones that really hurt you to the core.
Okay, so let me share with you how you must not respond to offenses and how you must respond to offenses.
Okay, we're ready to learn.
Yeah, so the first, like I mentioned earlier, the first one is the silent treatment or the Cold War. That
it is not good to do that.
Exactly. A lot of people give to their spouses. And what you have to know is that once you give your spouse the Cold War, the cold treatment, naturally, every marriage should thrive on communication. So your spouse will also try to communicate with someone else who is outside the marriage.
But man of God, not to take the wind out of your sails, somebody would say that, well, that is what helps me, especially for the men, that is what helps me not to get overboard as far as reaction is concerned. Mine is to keep quiet, and when I'm fine, then I'll talk. If I'm not fine for 3 days, I'll not talk.
The Bible gives us how to go about it. It says, be angry and sin not. And then it also says that do not let the sun go on whilst you are still angry. All right. So God even gives us the parameters on how to even handle ourselves when we are angry. All right. So what many of us do wrong is that when we are offended, we give our spouse the cold treatment, like we mentioned earlier. The second thing a lot of people also do and don't do well is they become very rude to their spouse. They determine to get into the gutters with them, and they will give you cheeky answers. They will give you straight responses. Yes. For example, if you tell them, "Is there food in the house?" You tell, "Come and eat me."
I will be very offended at that.
Yeah. So they verbally abuse and they use nasty and unprintable words. And what we don't know is what we should know is that these things will take your focus off the main issue. All right? Now, what another thing other people do is that they withhold sex. I'm angry with you, so we can't have sex. All right. For others too, they will tell you, well, if I'm angry, I will not be in the mood. What you need to know is that in marriage, there are two types of sex. We have pleasurable sex and dutiful sex. Dutiful sex means that you know that when it comes to marriage, it's not every time you have sex that you are happy with it or you are in the mood to have sex with your spouse. So the Bible talks about the fact that defraud not your spouse of your body. So the Bible uses that strong word, defraud. So when you withhold sex from your spouse because you are offended or because you are angry with them, the Bible classifies it as defrauding. All right, and that is why some spouses have ended up going into adultery because their spouse withheld sex from them. What others also do is that they withhold strategic resources from you. So he won't give you housekeeping money. Some will refuse to renew the DSTV. Some will even go and cut off the internet
because they are offended.
They are offended. Others, when they are going to the office, they will lock the car and take the key to the office and tell me, I will show you, I will let you know that I'm the man in this house. And what others also do is that they scream and shout at each other. They don't care whether the children are there or not. I was living in a house where there was a couple that used to live upstairs. Anytime they had a fight, everybody in the house will have to come out of the house, come and try and separate them. All right. Others also desert the home. They leave the home. They just take their car, leave the home. Some don't even come back. Some leave for days. Some also leave for months, and all that. And so this is something you don't have to do when you are offended. Now, what do you have to do when you are offended? The first thing you need to know is that it is not a tit for tat game. It's not like you have done this, so I must also overdo what you just did. It is not a tit for tat game. 2, avoid over dramatization and exaggeration. There are people, when they are offended, they over dramatize. You raise your hand like this, as if to hold them, and then they are already on the floor screaming. They are screaming as if you hit them with a sledgehammer. All right, so please avoid over dramatization. 3, keep your emotions in check. Because if you don't take care, if you don't handle the offenses, sometimes you may say something that will take years to be able to undo them. When you are angry, think through things calmly before you speak. Another thing is that avoid blame games. Some of them, they will blame you for the reason why they are not happy in the marriage. Avoid blame games. And the next one is that please take criticism as part of the marriage and not as a personal attack. Sometimes when our spouses open up to us and tells us what we are not happy about in the marriage, we think that they are criticizing us. And what we do best is that we put up a defensive posture. Then the last one I would want to talk about is learning to apologize when you are wrong. Apology means that I am sorry for what I did, and I'm not going to repeat it again. How you apologize is even very important.
I was going to get there. Because how sincere can you call an apology? For example, when you have the case where a spouse is trying to express how hurt he or she is, and you get to sorry, it's okay. As an apology. when you're trying to talk more about it, it's like do. You know, is that an apology?
No. An apology must be honest.
It's not just about the word sorry.
No, it must lead to a change in behavior.
Interesting.
Okay, so when I'm apologizing to you, what I'm saying is that first of all, I'm admitting my fault.
Okay.
And I'm expressing regret for whatever has happened. And then I'm asking you for forgiveness so that I can change. I'm asking you for forgiveness even with the right attitude, because how you even ask for forgiveness is very important. There are people when they tell you, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And all that. All right. So there is a way we go about honest apology.
Interesting. You'd want to throw light on that.
I wanted to look at something quickly. Just what Osofo said. I look at different kinds of offenses. There are some offenses that are very trivial, though it is not for you to say this is trivial.
Yeah.
Different people deal with different things differently. But there are some things like I said something wrong, like I just said it just was a sweeping statement, and I'm saying sorry. There are some offenses that are deep.
Yes.
I happened to meet 7 years ago a lady who was going to have her first child, and the father was bedridden. He had stroke. So the mother said, I am supposed to come and take care of you in Accra, but I can't leave your father. Everybody is gone. So I'm sending your last sister to come and live with you. She just finished with SHS. So the young lady came living with them. When it was time for her to put to bed, she went to the village to live with the mother, so she can take care of both of them. By the time she came back from the village, her husband had made the sister, the 17-year-old girl, pregnant. Oh, yes. So it is not just offense like you didn't cook for me, you didn't do that. There are other offenses that really hit hard at the very core of the marriage.
Your own sister.
Yes, and it was serious. So when we are picking them on you are not just like there are different things we are talking about here. And in recent times, the Christian community is going through a lot of sexual things that many people are failing to talk about because we feel we are keeping quiet on them. And so a lot of the kind of offenses I have been dealing with in recent times have to most of the time be infidelity. And in this matter, there is a position where somebody is very deeply hurt because if it is the woman, the wife, she feels that she has been betrayed. She feels her self-esteem is completely gone, too many other things. And so those ones should also be looked at within their context. They are very, very important. Whichever way, we are saying that every offense is an offense. It has gotten somebody to feel bad and disturbed. So we should talk about it. I am saying that at no point should any offense be swept under the carpet and not talked about. If anybody feels that this is not right for me, it's not sitting well with me, let's talk about it. Bring it up. Let's talk about it. Let us sit, behave like adults that we are, and talk about it. What is it that I did that didn't sit well with you? Why is it? And let's talk about it. Let our husband stop saying, okay, and yeah, it's okay. No. Don't let one person in the marriage begin to behave as if he is the wisest of us. Let us agree that both of us are companions. We are a couple, and both of us have a right and a stake here in this marriage. When someone feels offended and he is able to let you know that, no, this thing you did is not right, receive it. But I also believe in the criticism becoming constructive. I mean,
that's attacking your personality.
What is it? I mean, a husband feels that, why are you also always serving me like this? Some of these things, they hit at the person of your wife or your husband, and at the end of the day, it's some way. Let us, as a couple, learn to choose words. They are very important. Sebi, if you are angry, and that is why I am one person I'm afraid of in life is somebody who can get unnecessarily angry, because when people are unnecessarily angry, they tend to kind of lose their mind. And so yes, in a marriage, something didn't go right. We may not always get it right, but if we are civil towards each other, we know how to choose words. Again, I want to reiterate what Osofo said. If any husband says, because I am angry, I am not eating your food, I am not sleeping with you, I am not paying the bills, I am sitting on Joy FM telling you, if you are doing this, shame unto you. You are a boy, you are not a husband yet, you are not a man. It does not matter. When we were growing up, our fathers were not Christians. One of the things my father used to say, you don't reject your wife's food. What are you talking about? And about you, Buffut said there, you don't say I won't sleep with you for what? I mean, what is it? This whole sex thing is one of the main reasons we are married, though. So if you're a wife there and you are angry, so you are using sex as a weapon, shame on you. You don't know what you are doing. And so let's get these things and let us get it together. Whenever we notice that we are angry and because somebody is offended, let's rally ourselves quickly. Let somebody throw away their pride and be the first to move. And I'm always saying that the first person to always move for reconciliation is the matured one among the two of you. It doesn't always have to be the husband. It can also be you, the wife. Somebody should stretch the olive branch to the other person. We are a couple. We are not enemies, no matter what. There are some people who are so hurt, like I'm saying, 9 years. The man said, I will never talk to you. Why? Because you said that I use every occasion to insult you. But that is also true. So why wouldn't I talk about this? So, sorry, excuse me. So please let us sit and learn to talk about things in everything. People are so offended. They feel that I am living for my children. At any point, a couple, one of you begin to live in the marriage for your children, there is no marriage. Because like me, my children are almost all out of the house. This my boy I came with is 26. They will be leaving the house very soon. So you see, the children are in between us, 4 of them. You are there, I am here. We are using them as everything. When they all leave, the emptiness situation becomes very difficult. At this time, let us begin to learn to live with ourselves as a couple, so that when our children are not there, it is we are the ones who are married, not them. Offenses will come, but at the root of love, when offenses come, the axe is at the root of love. People's love tend to wax cold, and so there are too many things: resentment, this. I pray, it is my prayer that couples will learn how to handle offenses. They will come in diverse ways, and you need to be matured enough to pick them up and work them out.
Also, at what point do we bring in a third party?
Okay. You bring, first of all, when offenses happen in their home, I think that, like I mentioned earlier, the couple must develop conflict resolution skills. They must hone. That skill is something you must hone. You must intentionally hone it. What most of us do is that when offenses happen, we sweep it under the carpet, and then so we keep sweeping offenses under the carpet. We don't talk about it. We don't discuss it. And then later, there's an implosion. So when an issue happens, what the two of you should first of all do is to try and resolve it among yourselves.
Okay.
If you are not able to do it, then you can bring in a third party. I tell people that every marriage must have an accountability structure, accountability system, where both of you decide that, okay, when issues happen in the marriage and we can't deal with it, these are the people we want to bring in. Sometimes I don't advise that your accountability system should be your parent.
No.
Because experience has taught me that a parent will tend to side with their own children when there are issues. All right, so sometimes get a neutral person, get someone both of you respect. It doesn't necessarily even have to be your pastor, it can be your counselors. All right, so the first step in handling offenses is to try and deal with it between the two of you. However, when you reach an impasse and you cannot deal with it, then you can bring in a third party. There is something a lot of people don't do in marriages. That is what we call post-marital counseling. Our mentality is that if it's not broken, why must we fix it? And sometimes when you tell your partner that I think we need to see a counselor, the person feels that, hey,
No.
are you trying to tell me there's a problem with me or not? But I think that it's something that couples should be able to take advantage of. Postmarital counseling is something that we should be able to take advantage of.
I see. That's interesting. Amazingly, time isn't on our side. We're going to pause tonight, and we'll continue, God willing, next week. We have laid the foundation tonight, but we're going to be continuing next week. Next week, we'll be trusting God to look at how you deal with an unrepentant spouse. You know, one thing, still is happening. You've sat, you've discussed it, you've spoken at dawn, at night, in the afternoon. You've used all the skills, you know, that Osofo's talking about. How do you deal with that, you know, and many other factors as far as this subject is concerned? I'm very sure that by the time we are done with this topic, marriages will be healed. Before then, I would want you to share your last words with us, Mama Thez and Osofo Anesi.
Yes, so finally we are trying to say we are lovers before we get married. And so we will keep being lovers through and through. Little things will come. It's like weeds. We have cleared our land, but small weeds will come. As we journey on, let's keep picking them up.
Yes.
They shouldn't become a forest to kill you. Offenses can be worked on, and so that our marriages will become beautiful.
Right then. Also, for your last words, please.
So what I would say is that every marriage, there's no offense-proof marriage.
There's no offense-proof marriage. I like that.
Yeah.
I'll add it to my repertoire.
Every marriage has offenses. It's part of every marriage. It's inevitable. If you have not had any offenses in your marriage, prepare yourself for it. It will come. And no matter how difficult an issue is, I believe that there's nothing that cannot be resolved if the two of us decide to work at it.
Thank you very much. For me, that's my take home. The two of you must make up your mind. We will make this work. And as long as you're committed to it, definitely it is going to work. This is where we draw down the curtains as far as tonight's edition of A Walk with Jesus is concerned. I've had Osofo Anesi Akwa and Mama Teresa Wiafi Asante being a blessing to us. Thank you very much. Uncle Ken is very ready in his beautiful, is it a wine or red colored shirt, you know, to treat us to some beautiful jazz songs. Uncle Ken, a very good evening to you, sir.
Good evening to you, Pastor, and to Ma.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, I enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I've been listening. You know, I listen every Sunday.
Exactly. For how many years have you been married, Uncle Ken?
Please, don't listen to me.
We will have to bring you on the show one of these days, pa. Seriously.
Yes.
You know.
I know, but you know something?
Yes, please share with us.
While you were having your conversation, something came to mind, and I just wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Do you believe in that saying that says familiarity breeds contempt?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
If you want your marriage to work,
don't get familiar.
Don't invite that saying into your home. Because if you invite that saying into your home, that's what breeds the problems.
Wow.
When you become too familiar and contempt steps in, you have issues.
And that's the root of the many offenses that happen in
because
marriages.
People have become too familiar and contempt has stepped in, you know.
If they become too familiar, then it means that the subject of respect is completely gone.
So it's important. It's very important you have a base in your marriage. Why did you get married in the first place? You know, if you didn't know the person, I'll always support the ideal. I'll always say I lived, or if you want me to put it in your way, I cohabited with my wife for 5 years before we even got engaged.
You intentionally did that?
Maybe not intentionally, but because it was in London.
Okay.
And it was prudent to live together and share a flat, you know, other than living separate.
It will be more expensive to do that.
Exactly. But it worked wonders because I got to know her and she got to know me. And if there were things that we needed correcting, we corrected them.
I see.
Okay.
That's interesting. So that rather helped you.
Yes.
But for some people, that rather messes up the marriage.
That's what they say. That's why I'm saying that Obian in the lane.
Obian dinidim.
With me, it worked wonders for me.
That's interesting.
Yes, because I got to know the person, and the person got to know me. So we didn't have issues once we used.
And that has helped you travel this far in your marriage.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting. Anyway, thank you very much, Uncle Ken. What are we to expect tonight on Jazz on Joy?
Beautiful jazz music. Yes.
We'll be listening on our.
We will be listening.
Nice one.
Thank you very much. Right then. So many thanks to Osofo Anesi and to you, Mama Thes. God richly bless you. We'll continue, God willing, next week. And to Mikaela and Osofo Ebi, God bless you.